volunteer, this being 2013, I've been a volunteer for, say, 6-7 years, chapter level, international level, and it's really helped me twofold. Number one is my personal development, more in terms of leadership skills and evolving as a leader and really starting to explore that talent, skill, work on that. Some might say maybe not a skill, but that's okay. But the other side of it is also on the career side, on my business side. I've developed a lot of contacts, and they tend to be better when I volunteered because people kind of know me beyond just my face and my name. They've seen me do work. They've seen me work on different initiatives and such, and so then when they've had work come up, they've talked to me and said, I know you can do this, I've seen you do this and you volunteer with IABC, so can you help us with this? And it goes from there. So it's really been a really good experience on a couple of fronts.
Volunteering has been extraordinarily helpful for my career. I'm in a professional services and consulting environment, and I've been able to grow my personal and professional skills, whether it's speaking, contributing to volunteer membership organizations, leading those kinds of organizations, and I've been able to gain skills that I've been able to bring back to my consulting practice as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Preston.
It's helped me a lot. I've actually served on different chapters in different states, but I plan events. I've done mostly charity, gala events, and that type of thing. And professional development has given me an opportunity to do businesses and conferences and that type of planning, which I've now transitioned to in my career, and I work in the corporate sector doing exactly that. So it helped me find a new passion, and get experience and skills that I can put to use.
Great. Thank you.
As the co-VP of Communications for IABC Minnesota, I get a lot of experience working with volunteers and coordinating and making sure that they have enough to do and making sure that everything is going right, which as a new professional is something that I don't get to do in my job. And so I get a lot of experience working with other people and facilitating.
Great. Fantastic.
I'd say for me, and what I usually tell other volunteers is the reason why I volunteer is to get something out of it that I don't get out of my day job. And for me, the reason why I started to volunteer was to network, and it's turned into for me to leadership development, which is how I've gotten into the president-elect role. So the past 7 years, I've been hopping around between different portfolios, different volunteer positions, to gain a skill that I don't get in my job. And one of the things I really want to do is manage someday. And so I'm having the opportunity to do strategic planning, to do a budget, lead other volunteers, succession planning, which is something I don't get to do in my job. So that for me is the benefit for me.
So I started volunteering in 2008. I was originally a newsletter volunteer, and then I joined the executive board in 2010. I'm in my third term of VP Finance. It's been a fantastic experience. I have met a lot of people, networked a lot. I actually changed jobs this year, and that was due to a IBC connection. So I just had it's been really meaningful in terms of connections, up-to-date knowledge, and just really fantastic networking opportunities.
Great. Thank you. How about Janelle?
I've been volunteering with IABC for 3 years now. I started as a just volunteer for Facebook and our communications team, and then took on the director of social media, and now I'm co-VP of communications. And during that time, I've met a lot of people that actually have propelled my career forward. So not only the skills, but the people I've met have led to a couple of different jobs. So it's been really valuable for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Molly Walker.
Hi, I'm a very long-time member of the chapter, longer than I'd really rather not say. And so I was very involved in the board in San Francisco as a past president, and I really loved it. It was wonderful, and I think I grew a lot as a person and also in my business. And now I'm on the region board, and I find that to be true. It's different, it's sort of more wide-ranging, but it's terrific. And for me, it's about the community and the relationships and sort of growing in a very different way than you do in your job. And for that, it's been quite terrific.
Great, thank you.
I joined IABC just 2 years ago. A very close old friend was the president then, and immediately got me involved with redoing our website, and which was great fun, and became a board member last year. And to me, the value is, especially because I work for myself and alone, having the connections and the sense of community and building relationships and networking with all the other members of IABC San Francisco, who are all incredible people. It's just a great group.
Thank you so much. And Ricky.
Yes.
How has volunteering affected your career and/or how long have you been with IABC volunteering? What has it meant to you?
Much like Lisa, just about 2 years. I went to a leadership reception in a momentary lapse of reason, and half an hour and a glass of wine later, I was on the board. And that has been a wonderful experience, actually. It's been a great network of people and professionals that it sort of was like putting your network on steroids, because suddenly I knew so many people so quickly, so well, not just from being in IABC, but from volunteering on the board, which means you get involved with people at a whole different level. So that was really wonderful for me. I'm also an independent consultant like Lisa, and I've gotten business, I've gotten new opportunities, I've found professional partners and created partnerships with people sort of cross-functionally through IABC. So for me, it has been an absolute game changer. It has allowed me to set out on a different direction of business and career altogether. So.
This is my 10th year as a volunteer for IABC, and literally my career would not be possible without IABC, especially the insights I gained as a volunteer leader on the Los Angeles chapter. I started off in membership and then served a year as incoming president, 2 years as president, moved on to the Research Foundation Board, and now I'm on the International Executive Board.
Oh my gosh.
And the connections to colleagues you can get as a general member, but when you're having to think about what's important to communications professionals, what do they value, it makes you stop and think about what you value, what's important to you in your career. And having that broader context helps you realize what's meaningful not only for you, but for your future career progression. So being in that leadership role to think through those things, make the decisions that benefit all members, including yourself, at the local level, is one thing. I think the second thing was knowing who's who in the LA market, in the greater Southern California market. Where were the jobs? What were they doing? What was the work? What were their cultures and organizations like? When you step up into a volunteer role, you go to meetings and events, you hear from members in email, you do profiles, you learn about who it is that are your colleagues in a way that you can't get through LinkedIn or through Facebook or World Conference even. So tremendous value helping think through that.
Well, I think it's affected my life in general in profound ways. I first got involved with the local chapter board in Melbourne, Australia, probably the first year that I was in IABC.
And what were you doing?
I was actually on the first year as vice chair for or vice president for the local chapter. And of course, I was working my own consultancy at the time, so that network was important to me. But what I've been able to build out of that is some real capabilities in that area of leadership. I've worked in organizations in a leadership area, but in a voluntary association, there's just so many different dynamics. And I really loved it so much in terms of that development, what I got out of it. And I started to create a bigger regional and then global network. And through the opportunities in IABC, working at both, all three, at the local, the regional, and then the international level, has just been able to expand my leadership capabilities, working with staff, working with volunteers from right around the world. It's such a great development opportunity, and I've loved every minute of it.
I started volunteering because my supervisor took the time to tag me along and tell me I had to attend an IABC meeting. Well, the forerunner of an IABC chapter back in the Philippines. I was so greenhorn. I was new in the job. Didn't know what it was. And he insisted. And I'm glad he did. I feel that everywhere I go now, because I represent the chapter, it brings a voice of the chapter and of the region and of our part of the world at IABC. Well, I think it's the law of the world, the law of karma. Whatever you reap, so shall you. Whatever you sow, so shall you reap. And I think that by volunteering, we give out part of ourselves, we are heard, but there's so much that comes back in return.